Hi, my name's Ian. Welcome to the channel. Not been here before, and you're happy to be before, then welcome back. Now, I have a question for you. Does your Ford Transit Mk7 crank but not start? But it also could relate to other Ford vehicles as well, of probably a similar era, from probably, I think it's probably from the Transit Mk6, sort of like 2000, up to probably 2014. They all used the same key, and from what I understand, they all used the same ignition switch as well. So part of the reason your vehicle could be cranking and not starting is purely down to the ignition switch, and we're going to go and have a look now, and I'll show you what the problem is. So if your Ford vehicle will crank and not start, it could be purely down to this switch. That's the problem. Now, this is a new one I bought off of eBay. I think it cost me about £6.50 altogether. There are various ones available. They all look identical and they vary, as I said, from about £6.50 up to about £15 if you want like a named one like Febby Bilstein, but I wouldn't mind betting they're all the same switch. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now is show you where this is located and what the problem is when you try to start, and then we're going to install it. So the problem that you might have, let's guarantee that this isn't going to do what I want it to do. I want it not to start, but I can guarantee that it probably will start when I turn the key today. So let's wait for the glow plug light to go off, which it has. Oh, it's started. Keep starting. Okay, I'll move the key to a different position. Let's see if they'll get it to start, not start now. There we go. Oh, it decided to start, then it's just struggling a bit. But basically what you need to do is, in the off position, is just move the key up and down a bit, in and out a bit, and you'll find that it will start. But as I said, the problem is actually that switch that I mentioned before. So we shall endeavour to change it. So basically, first thing we need to do is we need to pull this cover off. So that cover comes off. Sorry about banging the camera. And then up underneath here, where my finger is, there's a hole there. There's a hole there, and you'll need a Torx bit. I can't remember for the life of me what size Torx bit it is, but it is quite a small one, because I've got it on the. Where's that? Is that showing on the end of my thing? Where is it? Why is that not filming? There we go. So that's the Torx bit I'm using. It's just on the end of the screwdriver, so it's quite a small one to get those two screws undone. And then we'll then, once we've done that, we'll then pull out this plastic section here. Not quite sure how well the camera's focusing, but that is the screw that you end up undoing, and they're designed not to fall out. So once you've got those out, then we're going to jiggle this cover off. I think it's just a bit of a jiggery pokery. Might as well do the screws a little bit more and it should come out. Once you've got the cowl loose, you'll find that this is actually hanging from it with this wire plugged into it. This is for your radio controls, etc. And basically it just slots back on up there is where it goes on, but we'll sort that out when we go back in. But basically just disconnect it, it just gets it out of the way. Right, you have to excuse me, I'm laying on my back here. So basically this is the plug that plugs into the ignition switch. The ignition switch is actually on the left hand side, so basically you see you can't see it there, my fingers, that's the ignition switch where your key goes in. So basically just follow down the other side of all the steering column and you basically get to this section here. So to get the wiring out, it's basically just give it a little squeeze in there and pull it out at the same time, and that pulls that out. Right, to get the switch out, I'm just going to show you what it is on the new one. Is the easiest way of showing it, because trying to actually show you on both sides of the old one is quite difficult. So basically you got these two plastic tabs. What you have to do, you have to squeeze them both in basically and then pull it out. But I think I might have to try and get a screwdriver or something into the top one and then squeeze the other one with my finger just to pull it out, or something like that, because the top one's quite difficult to get at. But I'll sort of show you on the old one whereabouts the first tab is, and then sort of point towards where the other one is. Don't know what the camera's focusing on. This got to see too. I'm laying on my back, but basically the first one you need to push in is here. So that's, you push that one in, and then there's one on the opposite side, sort of up round the back where my fingers sort of go in. There's another one in there, so we need to try and squeeze that one and squeeze the other one at the same time. I might be able to do it if I just don't hold the camera at the same time, and perhaps use my thumb on it, or using the other finger on the hand I'm using for the camera. But basically we need to squeeze those in, and then this whole thing should come out in this direction. Actually, looking at it, it's easier actually, I think, if you actually pull out the top section of this this cowl that goes around the steering wheel. It's sort of, because you've obviously screwed it from the other side. So again, we're trying to do this with one hand. Oops, that's come out now, and hopefully that will then give me access down there, and the finger is where we should find the other tab, I think. Oh no, it's still down there. I might be able to get a screwdriver in there now. It's really awkward to get at. Yeah, well, I did got a screwdriver in the top. Taking that cowl off makes a big difference. So you can squeeze one down there and just push the tab in. Push the top one in first, then squeeze the other one in with your thumb, and then the whole thing comes out. Because it's such a really bright day outside, I'm struggling to get the camera to focus on what I want to show you here. Now, the left-hand one is the old one, the right-hand one is the new one, and what, as you might be able to see here, if you look at the hole, it's sort of sitting horizontally. There's like a cross section in it. If you look at the new one, then it's not sitting horizontally. I'm not sure how well the camera's picking this up because it's quite dark in here now. But basically we need to stick the key in it and then rotate it so that sits in the same orientation as this one. So I've just stuck the key into this one, turned it anti-clockwise, and it's now in the same orientation as the old one. So it going horizontally across, like in a negative sort of way, I suppose you could call it. The reason for getting this to line up horizontally is that it won't locate properly if it isn't in the right position. And basically what will happen is that these tangs on the side here, they won't clip into position or click in if it's not in the right position. So it's imperative that you make sure your new one is in the horizontal position, otherwise it won't fit correctly when it goes in. As I said, if it doesn't clip in, it means it's in the wrong position. But as I said, these tangs should literally, you push it in and it goes gling, or plops in, and you know you got it right. Right, let's fit the new one. And by making sure you've got it in the right way, make sure then that it'll click in position when we come to refit it. So put the old one to one side, let's take the new one and go fit it. So, moment of truth. Get in, hope the glow plug, blow plug to go out. Fires up. I must say it feels a lot stiffer than what it was before. Doesn't seem quite as floppy. So perhaps the switch was just worn out, but that'll do for now. Right, so that's the top cowl back in position. And then what we need to remember to do is this. This cable, well, that cable there, pointing in the right direction. This cable. Excuse me, sorry about this, one-handed and all that. Right, that cable needs to pass through this hole down on the left-hand side here. So that's passed through there. So this is like dangling, and I've held it by the cable at the moment. Then we need to then reconnect up the radio controls. So basically, I pushed the cowl back up into more or less into position, and you may be able to see this slot here where my finger's pointing. That's where the radio control thing slides back into. When you push this radio thing back in, mine was just flopping around a bit and I couldn't quite work out what to do with it, but you just give it a damn good push and all of a sudden you'll hear like a spring going dong, and basically it just hooks itself in position and then it won't come out, because I said it was flopping about a bit, but that's now in properly. And I've unscrewed back all the stuff underneath as well. That's all back in, just need to put in the plastic cover at the bottom. And there we are, it's all back together again. I've just given it another try and it works perfectly. As I said, it feels a lot stiffer than what it was before, so yeah, it's definitely to do with the ignition switch itself, not where the key goes in. That seems to turn all right, so that my key's absolutely had it, so I do need to look at doing something about that, but I don't fancy paying 350 quid for a new key from Ford. Well, that's the installation of the ignition switch now complete. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.